Welcome to the Strength for Life podcast, where smart strength training meets real life. We're Dr. Matt and Nicole Klingberg, founders of Village Fitness and Physical Therapy. Here, you'll learn what really works in the gym, at home, and for life. Today on the Strength for Life pod, we're going to talk about how to avoid holiday weight gain. And before we do, this holiday season, Nicole and I are training for a High Rocks race. Nicole, how's your training going?
You know, it has been challenging, but I feel like I have been able to be pretty consistent, even with having, I think we've had guests in our home like 4 of the last 6 weeks, which has made it hard to wake up early. But I would say overall, my running is getting a little bit easier, which I think is...
Let's start over. I probably shouldn't jump into that right away, huh? Save that for a little later on.
Yeah, I was taking it back.
Ready for that.
I wasn't ready
for that.
I wasn't ready for that.
Haven't done this in a while.
I know. We've just been interviewing other people.
All right, let's do it. I'm ready. Ready, James?
Yeah.
All right. So today on the Strength for Life podcast, we're going to talk about how to avoid holiday weight gain. And I want to start off by just sharing my personal story. So for those of you that don't know, I grew up overweight as a kid and have always been cognizant of my weight. And just about every fourth quarter of the year, holiday season, I will gain weight and then slowly lose it throughout the course of the year between January and like September, October. Typically, the last 3 months of the year, October, November, December, really November, December, we're doing a lot more celebrations, eating out more often, eating with friends more often, big meals, less exercise. And I'll typically gain, 3, 4, maybe 5 pounds during that time. And this year, I decided to do something a little bit different because usually in the last part of the year, I'll have the least training volume, or the least amount of cardio, or the least amount of exercise volume of the entire year. And so this year, I was like, I'm going to do something different this year. And Nicole had signed up for a High Rocks race. And so I decided to do the same thing, to train for an event at the end of the year to give me something to push towards, because I know I'm still going to eat a big meal at Thanksgiving. We're still going to have a big Christmas dinner. We're still going to be going out and celebrating with people. But I think if I train for this event, which I am, training for this High Rocks event, it's going to help keep me on track health-wise, fitness-wise. So we're going to talk today about why people struggle health-wise around the holidays. And we're going to give you some really simple yet brutally effective health habits that you can implement into your own life to be healthy through the holidays. So Nicole, speaking of High Rocks, how is your training going for this holiday High Rocks event?
I think it's been really good for me in my training. It's forced me to just be more disciplined with, I think, getting up early every day and making sure that I prioritize not just strength training, but also cardio. I love strength training, and if I could, I would just do it every day, but I don't love running or just cardiovascular activity as much. I do love walking and hiking. So this has really allowed me, or kind of maybe forced me, to prioritize my cardiovascular endurance and working on something that doesn't come as easily to me. So I would say it's going well. I'm on track. I'm doing lots of running. We
did a full High Rocks simulation this Sunday, and I'm doing that race with a buddy of mine that I went to high school with. Named Zane, and then Nicole is doing it by herself because she's a savage, and it also the doubles one filled up before she could sign up. And then we also had hybrid homemaker Hannah here.
It's High Rocks Homemaker Hybrid Hannah.
High Rocks Homemaker Hybrid Hannah?
Yeah.
Okay. Hannah is our fitness manager in Glendora, and then Colton, who's one of our coaches in San Marino, he's teaming up with Hannah. They're doing the High Rocks race together. And so they trained with us as well. They actually got first place.
They did.
In our little High Rocks hottie simulation that we did on Sunday.
Yeah, it was fun. But I felt better about it when we had done it one previously. I think I was about 10 minutes faster this one. And so I feel good about it. I think the running is still something that I'm a little intimidated by, but I think because I've been consistently running now for about 3 to 4 months, I feel it doesn't feel as challenging as it did, which is always nice. So
yeah, and the workout we did on Sunday was a full simulation of an actual High Rocks event. And I was thinking as we were doing, I'm like, there's no way I would have pushed myself this hard for this long if I wasn't training for something. I didn't have a very specific goal that I'm training for. And B, there weren't 4 other people here seeing me do this. That competition and also the accountability of others really brings out the best in me. And I think the best in a lot of other people as well. And is really effective for moving people towards being fitter.
Yeah, I think the accountability piece, we have been doing quite a few Saturday morning 6 a.m. workouts with Hannah. And it's been amazing how many times I've almost said like we should cancel, but I know that she's coming because we've had something late Friday night or we've had guests in our home and we're up late. And it would have been so easy to just be like, oh, we'll do it later. Or we'll try to do it with the kids around. And it just wouldn't have happened, or it wouldn't have happened.
There was even one morning a couple weeks ago where we almost canceled because we were out late the night before. And then she did cancel in the morning, but we were like, oh, we're already up. I guess we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And it was miserable, but I felt great after.
Yeah.
And I never have done a workout and said to myself, I really wish I wouldn't have done that workout.
I agree.
No matter how crappy you feel when you go into the workout. There's this guy named Dan John who says that 1 out of every 4 workouts is going to be good. 1 out of every 4 workouts is going to be really bad. And then 2 out of 4 are somewhere in the middle. And of those 1 out of 4 that are good, 1 out of 4 of those, you feel fantastic. And that's when you just you go get it. You crush it. And the 1 out of 4 where you feel bad, it's like you just get through it. You maybe modify it a little bit. But at the end of the day, no matter what, you did your workout. And you show up and you do it most of the time, no matter how you feel. Anyways, let's talk about holidays and weight gain, because that's why we're here today. So the research shows that the average person gains 1 to 2 pounds during the holidays. And I'm pretty sure it's not muscle. It's probably body fat. And that's quite significant. 1 to 2 pounds of extra body fat takes a while to lose, because when people start to lose weight, those that lose it rapidly, most of what they're losing is actually water. And so the actual process of losing 2 pounds of fat takes quite a while and quite a lot of effort and intentionality. And then for people that are overweight or obese, they tend to gain even more weight, 2 to 5 pounds in some studies. So the average person, you're looking at 1 to 5 pounds of weight gain if you're the person that gains weight throughout the course of the holidays. And why does this happen? Well, first off, I think people just eat more food.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons. I think the number one thing, like you said, is that people eat more food because it's just more readily available. Like if you go anywhere into any person's home or business or work, there's often food, and usually very calorically dense food, readily available. There's candy everywhere you go. There's, cookies and hot chocolate and apple cider and all sorts of things that are usually very high in sugar and also very calorically dense. So I think
low in nutrients.
Yes, low in nutrients.
So they don't fill you up, but you still can eat a lot. You can eat a lot of them without getting full.
Correct.
Which is problematic.
Yeah. I think again, it's not just one thing. I think it's a combination of multiple things. I think some of the other things that lead to weight gain is that it's cold outside. And so thankfully we live in Southern California where it doesn't get super cold. However, most people this time of year, it starts to get to the point where it's very, very uncomfortable to be outside and to exercise. And so, if you don't have a gym that you go to, or if you like to be outside, which most people like to exercise outside, they just end up moving less because it's cold and it's uncomfortable. And so they just are inside where it's warmer and again, we're, I think, so conditioned to be in very neutral environments, temperature wise. We don't want to be uncomfortable. And so, going outside when it's, 32 degrees and freezing and dark, which we're going to get into in a moment, just is really not as ideal as waking up when it's 70 degrees and it's sunny and, you don't have to put on all these layers and things like that. So I think
it still hasn't gotten cold here yet.
It hasn't. It still feels like summer some days. I was walking around in a
t-shirt and shorts this morning at 5:45 a.m.
Yeah. Yep. So the next thing is that I think the sun is just, not I think, it is. The sun is out less. So the days are shorter and that affects our sleep, our mood, our body's hormones. And it really is, again, harder to get up and exercise in the dark. It's also just harder for our bodies to wake up in the morning when it's dark outside. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like when you wake up at, 6 a.m. and you're like, should I go back to bed and get another 30 minutes of sleep or should I work out? And it's dark outside, you're way more likely to probably go back to sleep and say, I'll just sleep a little bit longer than get up and work out.
We went through a period of time where we were following Mark Sisson and the Primal Blueprint. And he's very big on going to bed when it's dark and waking up when it's light out and following kind of the natural rhythm of, the sun.
And sleeping a little bit more in the winter.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we did that for a while. It was really nice, but it's tough with kids and business and schedules to try and orient your life around the sun. It's like, we really want the sun to orient around us.
Yep.
But
turns out it doesn't.
So we use alarm clocks and just get up.
Yep.
I'd say we probably sleep a little later in the winter, though.
Yeah.
Probably more towards 6 instead of 5 like we do in the summer.
Correct.
Yeah. The holiday season also brings with it a bunch of other unique things like travel. A lot of folks go out of town during the holidays and their routines are disrupted, or they have people in town and their routines are disrupted. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, I can't come in and do my 50-minute workout for the next 3 weeks because I have a guest that's staying with me in town. And so I think, I don't know the dynamics of everyone's life and the social expectations, but I would encourage you to still prioritize, find a way to go and exercise, even if it means you have to get up early before your guests are awake and go and do that. The people that are going to be successful from a health standpoint, I think, are those that have a little bit of I'm going to make it happen. And I have a friend who's a very consistent exerciser and he's also incredibly social, but he will sacrifice sleep to get exercise in. That's what he sacrifices. For me, I'm I'll carve out time in the morning no matter what's going on to go and exercise. That is my thing that I do. I'm committed to it regardless of whether we have family in town, friends in town, even if we're traveling somewhere, pretty consistently we'll get up or I'll get up and I'll go exercise. Recently went to a conference with Justin on our staff and Jamila, who's behind the camera today. And we all got up and ran every morning. We were there at the conference. The first thing we did, we got up, we went for a run, we got our exercise in. So we had a million excuses. I don't know the trails, the roads, but we just figured it out. And I think if you have that kind of impulse towards I'm going to figure this out, as opposed to I'm going to look for an excuse to not do this, you're going to be much more likely to be successful.
Yeah. And I would say include the people that are, visiting with you as part of your workout. So invite them in. So the last couple of weeks when we had friends in town, we still kept our routine and we just invited them in. And some mornings they worked out with us and some they didn't. Mm-hmm. And, they weren't offended by it. We did it early before, everyone was up and we made breakfast and all that. But often they will feel better and appreciate the invite. And then, if you're going to the gym, you can always ask, we tell people all the time, if you have guests in town and we have space in that session, bring your guest or your family member with you. We would rather have you and your guest there than you not there.
And I think our workouts probably looked a little bit different when our friends were in town. We had some friends with a couple kids and their kids were out here, one of their kids, and then our kids were out here kind of hanging out, playing basketball in our driveway. And so the workout was certainly less focused than normal, but we still made it happen. I had a good workout that day.
Yeah.
That we worked out.
I agree with that. But I think we're also used to the interruptions. Our children like to interrupt our workouts.
They sure do.
Most mornings. So
they sure do.
We're kind of used to that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the holidays, there's a few different mindsets that you can adopt. First, you can be the person who's like, hey, I don't care if I gain a few pounds. I'm going to worry about it on January 1st. I don't want to have to be stressed about what I eat or stressed about finding time to exercise more consistently during the holidays. And I'm just not going to worry about it. And if you're fine with gaining a few pounds and feeling like garbage,
Seriously.
go for it. I think that if you're just intentional about the strategy that you pick, and that's your strategy, more power to you.
I think too, if you already are just at like the peak of stress in your life,
Yeah.
and you're like, I can't handle another thing on my plate, I just have too many things going on, like I can't worry about this. I would say maybe you don't, but I think that when we talk about some of the tips that you can use to avoid weight, like that'll actually really help with your stress as well.
Absolutely.
So that would be the first person. The
Second person wants to mitigate holiday weight gain. And there's really two ways to do this. So way number one would be to dial in your food and be really cognizant and aware of the food you're eating. So you could use a strategy like food journaling to make sure that your caloric intake, your macronutrients are where they need to be to maintain weight. And that strategy would allow you to still splurge and indulge in foods that you like. So let's say you're going to a dinner with friends and you know that you're going to eat a lot there. You might just reduce the amount of calories you're eating throughout the day for breakfast and lunch. Or you could try a strategy like intermittent fasting. So on Thanksgiving Day, let's say, maybe you just don't eat for breakfast and lunch, gasp, and then you have your dinner because you're probably going to eat a few thousand calories for Thanksgiving dinner. It's not like your body needs food to survive and do well and think critically. Like you can pull from your body fat stores for that throughout the day and then save all your calories for nighttime.
The second thing you could do is just move a lot more. So like we said, it is typically harder in the winter months to move more because of, it being darker and colder. But if you exercise more and get a lot more low level movement and, add in some cardio into your workout routine, that'll just allow you to be a little bit more lenient with food and probably make some of the food decisions that you make just a little bit easier. Again, it's not like you can't ever out exercise a crappy diet. And that's not what we're saying. I think what we're saying is you just don't have to think about it as much if you're really intentional about adding in more movement. So, just because you go for a 30-minute run in the morning or a bike ride or something like that doesn't mean now I can just eat whatever I want.
Okay, fine.
I know. You still have to be cognizant. However, it just gives you a little bit more buffer. So if you do decide to have dessert or you decide to have a glass of wine or something at, somebody's Christmas party, it's not going to have the same effect on your body. But, if you ate crappy all day and drank a ton of alcohol and had a lot of processed carbs and sugar and didn't have enough protein, your 30-minute run isn't going to cut it.
For sure. I'm kind of using the second strategy throughout the holiday season with training for the High Rocks race. How many times can I say High Rocks on this podcast? We're going to find out.
And then the third would be the type mindset that you could adopt before the holidays is someone that really wants to lose weight during the holidays. And I would say that it's not impossible. However, it's going to be really hard to do this successfully in the November, December months. And it's not impossible. However, it's really hard because your environment is going to be pushing against that constantly. It's always going to be you're going to be stepping in every single day into, environments that are not conducive to losing weight. And most people are not in weight loss mode in November and December. And so it just kind of puts you into a different category and makes it harder to really just be in community and enjoy the holidays. If you're always the person that's I can't eat that, or I'm not going to eat anything that's here because I've got to eat my, chicken and broccoli. And so I would say, again, you can lose weight. Maybe if you were really conscious about everything outside of just the holiday meals that you're going to eat, like Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner, and you exercise a ton. However, I think that would probably lead to your holiday season being a lot more stressful and probably isn't the right time to do it. Whereas in January, people's mindset really shifts and there's not the same amount of candy and sweets and celebrations happening. And so it just is easier naturally to lose weight and more people are in the same mindset. And so it's just going to make you more likely to be successful.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's get into our top habits for avoiding weight gain during the holidays. Number one is to do more exercise. And we're doing something pretty cool this holiday season. We actually did it last year and it was just for our clients. This year, we're opening it up to the entire world. Everyone, all 8 billion people. It's called the 12 Days of Fitmas. And I was kind of being a humbug Grinch about it last year. I was like, this is lame. Why are we doing this?
And I was all excited about it.
I actually had a really good time and people loved it. Mm-hmm. Our clients had a blast. And so essentially how it works, if you join our 12 Days of Fitmas or decide to participate, it's completely free to be part of it. What you'll do is 12 days of different health habits that stack one upon another. So for example, day 1, you eat 1 protein-packed meal. And day 2, you do 2 box breaths and a protein-packed meal. So we came up with a song to go along with it, if you recognize the jingle. And every day, the health habits stack one upon the other.
So by the 12th day, you're doing 12 things for your health. So it'll kick off December 1st. And again, it's the first 12 days of December. And if you are interested in joining us for that, you can go to our website, villagefpt.com/fitmas, and you can sign up there.
That's Fitmas spelled Fitmas. And we will put that in the show notes.
Yes, we will.
For sure. And we're giving away some awesome prizes.
Yes, we are.
Every single day. If you comment either on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook on the video that we drop that has me and Dr. Eric singing songs, not songs, the 12 Days of Fitmas song, and our staff in crazy costumes doing cool stuff. If you comment on that video for the day that you did the things in the video, you'll be entered in to win the prize for the day. So we're giving away a Loom box,
an
Ember
Aura ring,
mug, an Aura ring,
a Breville espresso
maker, and then the grand finale prize is $1,000 cash for you to spend on your loved ones during the holidays. So it's going to be a blast, and it's a great way to get more low level movement. Mm-hmm. I think it's always good to add instead of subtract. If you're constantly in a kind of like scarcity mindset, or a mindset of like, I need to reduce calories, I need to avoid this, that's kind of depressing. But adding something like this is fun, and I think it'll help people to accomplish their goals during the holidays of moving more.
Yeah. So more low-level movement, I would say, is like literally the number one thing you can do to avoid weight gain. Some tips around that would be to walk after every meal. So instead of doing the dishes, which is my favorite thing to do, right after a meal,
can we get that?
I just
quote?
like to get
done. She said, just audience, please note this.
I actually
that's
do
my
like doing
favorite thing to do is
after
the dishes.
a meal.
Okay.
Because I don't
noted.
like to come
I'm gonna lock that
home
one away for later.
Or I don't like to wake up the next day to dirty dishes in my sink. I just want to go to bed with a clean kitchen. It's just like a fresh restart in the morning. favorite chore to do after dinner.
No, you said what you said. You said what you said.
Go for a walk after a meal. It's awesome. We've heard specifically when we did our Good Energy Challenge and from clients that have worn glucose monitors, they have said like one of the best things they can do for their blood sugar and to help them lose weight has been going for walks right after a meal. So don't wait 30 to 45 minutes and do the dishes. Just go out for a walk for 10 minutes. And then if it's too cold outside or it's dark or you don't feel comfortable, walk up and down the stairs. There was a study done that was...
No. Go outside.
Yeah, go outside if you can. But, if it's not feasible for some people, walk up and down your stairs, do some body weight squats, some jumping jacks.
Unless it's unsafe. Like you're going to fall because it's dark out.
I mean,
if it's cold or even a little bit rainy, just
get outside, be uncomfortable.
Get uncomfortable.
Yeah. You want to talk about wearing a weighted vest too?
Yes. So wearing a weighted vest is an interesting hack that you might want to try. So it could be a weighted vest or a rucksack. We did a whole podcast on rucking and the efficacy of wearing a weighted backpack. And then we also have a YouTube video coming out soon on that. And there was a study that I found and talked about in the video and the podcast that showed that there were two groups that went through a weight loss diet, so a caloric restriction diet. Both groups lost about the same amount of weight in the 8 weeks of the study. One group wore a weighted vest for like 30 minutes a day. And then at the end of the study, they set them free and said, hey, just go live your lives. Come back in 6 months. We want to remeasure you. When the groups came back 6 months later, the group that had worn the weighted vest just during the study had managed to keep off significantly more weight than the one that didn't wear the weighted vest, like 8 to 10 pounds more weight, which is nuts. What they think happened was because they were wearing added weight, their bodies didn't get this signal that they had lost weight and needed to go into caloric restriction mode in terms of metabolism, or metabolic restriction mode. So it essentially will cue your body, even if you are losing weight, that you don't need to pump the brakes of your metabolism to slow down how much you're burning and increase your hunger hormones to increase how much you're eating. Because that's really what happens. When you start to lose weight, your body will fight against that. That's basic human biology. When we begin to lose weight, the body views that as a life and death threat and will do whatever it needs to do to prevent that. And part of that is increasing hunger, decreasing metabolism. So wearing a weighted vest can be a great way to offset that, and I would highly recommend it.
Our second tip for avoiding holiday weight gain is to really save indulgent eating for just very specific occasions. So, between, again, we hear people that just kind of like eat whatever they want between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And unfortunately, that's just a very long time. And so be really specific about when you are going to splurge and pick, what it is that you're going to splurge on. And instead of saying, like, for example, maybe you eat whatever you want on Thanksgiving dinner.
I will.
You will. So will I. But then you have all these leftovers, and some of them may not be the worst. If you've got some like sweet potatoes and protein like turkey, or in our case, we like to do steak leftovers. Great. But what I think most people do is they have all this pie and they have all these like sweetened things and high carb things, and they just eat that every day, for a week after as leftovers. And then they roll into Christmas season, and then there's cookies and, sweet things every single day. And instead of just waiting for very specific things that they celebrate, maybe a couple of, Christmas parties, they're indulging every single day between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so I would say, as much as you can, just be really intentional about what you're going to eat. So pick, instead of trying it all every single day, maybe you pick one thing that you're going to indulge on, and then try not to, go away from that. And so one thing that we've done that has been really helpful, I think, has been no alcohol the last couple of years. And that's just made like any type of social situation easier, because then if we, in the sense that it's like, we're just, it's off the table. And so literally off the table. We're not drinking. And so I think then it's like, okay, well, instead of having, an alcoholic drink that has some added sugar and dessert, maybe I'm just going to pick a little bit of dessert, and I'm not going to overindulge in everything. Another thing you could offer to do is, if you're going to somebody else's house or a Christmas party, is you could offer to bring something that is like a high protein, side or a veggie to any gathering. Like we always offer to bring salads, because then we know there's something there that's going to be nutritious, and we can eat that first before eating some of the other things that are offered.
Nice. So I'd say food and movement are the two most important habits to think through. Those are going to be the biggest levers that you can pull. But sleep is also really important as well. And there was a super interesting study done in 2010 that had the same group of subjects spend 2 weeks getting 5.5 hours of sleep while undergoing a caloric restriction diet, and then another 2 weeks getting 8.5 hours of sleep while undergoing a caloric restriction diet. And what they found was that when they were getting less sleep, like 5.5 hours, they lost 55% less fat and 60% more muscle, which is nuts. And what's going on here is that when you are sleep deprived, your body goes into a fight or flight mode and it conserves fat. And it starts to burn more muscle for fuel because of the increased cortisol levels within your body. And I think when we feel like we're not in a state of balance because we're not getting enough sleep, our bodies want to preserve fat for just in case. Like, oh, just in case I need that or I need more of that, because we feel like we're in this super stressful situation. So sleep is really important for avoiding weight gain or for losing weight, whatever you want to do. There's another study where researchers had folks add 1.2 extra hours of sleep into their, evenings, to their nights, and they ate 270 fewer calories per day each day, which is nuts. Just a little extra sleep. And they didn't think it was because of just being awake for less amount of time per day. They thought it was literally to do with impulse regulation and hunger, that they actually ate less.
I also think too, you're just more likely to eat the longer you are awake too. Like, if you're staying up until midnight and you're waking up at 5 a.m., you just have more hours that your body is going to think about eating food.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be harder to resist it. Whereas if you go to bed at 9 and you're not up till 5, like that's just 3 hours less of, you having to avoid food or think about it.
Yeah. I find for me, the most important sleep is before midnight.
Definitely.
Like last night, what time did we go to bed? 9:30?
Yep.
Our 4-year-old decided that she's no longer potty trained last night and came in at 2 a.m., woke us up because she had an accident. And she was very distraught about it. So I was up for a little while solving that problem. And then I had a hard time going back to sleep for whatever reason. But I woke up this morning, I was like, I feel fine. But I think it was because, and my Oura Ring said I was fine too. It said I could go out and play with my friends today. I think that was because I got to bed early and got good sleep before midnight, before 2. Mm-hmm. I think every hour before 2, the earlier you get your sleep, the better.
Yeah, on all of my Oura data, after wearing it for a couple years, I've seen that my best sleep, my deep sleep, my REM sleep comes before 2 a.m. So if we go to bed at midnight or 1 a.m., which doesn't happen very often, like even if I get 8 hours of sleep, I usually feel horrible because I don't get enough deep sleep. Whereas like when we go to bed at 9, I feel great and I usually get a lot more deep sleep.
Yeah, me too. Another habit, especially when there's not as much of this during the year, is to be intentional about getting sunlight exposure. The ideal time to get sunlight exposure is early in the morning. Like if you can get outside, get your eyes, some of your skin exposed to early morning sunlight, that can be a really powerful way to reset your circadian rhythm every single day. And has been shown to aid in weight loss. People who got bright morning light earlier in the day had a lower BMI, independent of the amount of calories they ate or even their sleep. The researchers surmise that morning sunlight anchors the circadian rhythm, leading to better glucose control, hormone timing, and energy use. Get this, each hour delay in bright light exposure was linked to approximately 1.3 higher BMI score. So for example, if you the normal BMI is 25, and then anything above that is overweight. I think over 30 is obese. I could be wrong about those numbers, but let's say you don't see light until 8 a.m. compared to somebody who sees it at 7 a.m. You're going to go from a 25 to a 26.3, all other things considered. It would literally push you from normal weight to overweight just by delaying the amount of sunlight you get by an hour.
That's nuts.
Yeah, who knows if it's causation or correlation, but man, it's there. And so if you can kind of organize your sleep and wake life to go to bed early, to get up and see early morning sunlight, like that is, I think that's just how humans were hardwired to live.
Yeah, I always feel my best when I can get out first thing in the morning and walk. And I think we were really good about doing that during the Steps Challenge this year, like just getting up first thing in the morning.
Do you want to talk about how badly my team beat yours?
Oh my gosh.
In the Steps Challenge?
We've already talked about it.
Okay.
I've already said I'm jumping ship.
Do you want to process it?
No, you're just still a little bit jealous that I dominated you in the
I'm
individual.
not worried about it.
Individual steps.
My team won by so much.
How many steps did you get in the 4 weeks?
Well, my team got more than your team.
Okay,
so
but you individually.
I don't want to talk about it. It's not important to me.
I'm just proud of my own effort.
Okay.
I can't say the same of all my team. Some of them,
There's no I in team, Nicole.
some of them, really carried the weight, and some we had to carry the weight for them and just couldn't do it.
Wow.
Couldn't do it.
For any of you guys listening out there that she's referencing, I'm sorry. Anyways, the fifth one. Why don't you take this one? This is a good one.
Yeah. So the fifth one is, and actually why we put in as the first thing that people should do, and that we want them
In
to
the
do
12 days of
in the
Fitmas.
12 days of Fitmas, is one protein packed meal. And so
And a protein packed meal.
there we go. And so what does that look like? And why is that literally the one thing that we want everyone doing every single day? And the reason is that really protein is the foundation for every single structure and function in your body. And it also helps with muscle building. And so if you want to stimulate that muscle building pathway, then you need to have enough protein and enough high quality protein. And the great side effect of that is that when you prioritize protein, you tend to eat less of the other things that aren't as nutritious and filling for your body. You also are not as hungry later on. And so when you have, a high quality protein, say breakfast, for example, then the rest of your day, your glucose control, like how your body responds to glucose and the insulin that you produce, is going to be a lot more responsive than if you start your day with high carbohydrates, or it's essentially not going to be as good for your body for the rest of the day. And so
Yeah, there was a research study. I don't remember the specifics of it, but they had the subjects eat garbage, like just processed food crap. And one group ate processed food crap that was mostly carbohydrates and fat. And the other group ate processed food garbage that was higher in protein. Still processed junk, but they had more protein. And all other things considered, the group that ate the higher protein diet gained significantly less weight than the group that ate less protein. So even if you're gonna eat processed food, or even if you're eating junk, eating more protein can be really helpful. It keeps you fuller longer. It also, protein has a high thermic effect of food, or TEF, which means that you have to burn more calories just digesting the protein than the other macronutrients, carbohydrates, and fat.
Yeah. So yeah, when you front load your day with protein, then you're basically going to help to stabilize your metabolism for the rest of the day. And it's just going to lower the effects, like Matt said, of maybe some of the other junk that you eat later on in the day. I would say aim for at least 30 grams. However, if you're really trying to maximize that, the muscle building pathway in your body, then I would say maybe even 50 grams at the beginning of the day. If you really want to optimize, weight loss and building strength and putting on muscle during the holidays. So what would that look like in the morning? So you could do 3 to 4 eggs in the morning. You could do Greek yogurt with a scoop of protein powder, and that would get you 50 grams. I know that's a lot of food. So I would say, yeah, those are probably the two ways that we get the most. You can also just do chicken, turkey, salmon. I know some people have kind of a hard time with that for breakfast. You could also do cottage cheese. I know some people that love cottage cheese with like peanut butter or almond butter mixed in. You could also do a smoothie. And this is probably honestly one of the easiest ways to get the most protein. You can put multiple scoops of protein powder in there. You can do yogurt. You can do avocado. You can do nuts. You can do, the Greek yogurt. You could do, all sorts of different variations to, pack as much protein as you can in there. And that's a great way to front load your day with protein. You could also do, if you're going out and you're with people, a breakfast burrito that has, say, like eggs and some type of breakfast meat, black beans and cheese. That'll also get you a lot of protein compared to, say, like waffles or pancakes or some of the other things that are, oatmeal, that are going to be a lot higher in carbohydrates and lower in protein.
What are those bars called that we just tried this weekend?
Oh yeah, the Jacob bars.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
So we found these protein bars that are, other than the actual whey protein isolate, it's a grass-fed whey protein isolate.
Yes.
Just real food ingredients. Do they have natural flavors?
I think they have. I'd have to look at all. I think it has honey in it.
Oh, nice. But no like artificial flavoring
artificial
stuff.
flavoring,
That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were tasty. Our kids even like them. So if you're looking for a way to get some protein on the go, a bar like that would be a good idea. And we've actually been like, we love Epic bars, which
And the Paleo Valley
beef
grass-fed
sticks,
beef sticks.
they're great sources of protein. But if you're looking for something that's even more, I guess, a higher ratio of protein to fat and carbs, these are only like 200 calories, and a high percentage of those calories come from protein. So if you want something more protein rich, something like that. There's another company called David bars, which according to my friend Zane, who's my High Rocks buddy, he's like, oh, they're like in a battle with each other. I don't know. He might have made that up.
The drama between David and Jacob.
He might be messing with me.
So funny. Yeah, but I would say whenever possible, like eat whole foods and well-sourced protein. However, especially around the holidays, if you know you're going to be out and about, instead of going through the Starbucks drive-through or having your Starbucks delivered to your house every morning, which we see quite often, and you have, a sugary drink with, your peppermint, white chocolate, mocha, whatever, that's going to have way more sugar. It's going to spike your blood sugar at the beginning of the day and then just leave you hungry and craving more of that throughout the day with their breakfast sandwich or, a pastry. Like, that's literally the worst way you could start your day, is like a sugar beverage and, a high sugar and carbohydrate food. Instead, make yourself a smoothie, grab a Jacob bar. Greek yogurt is a really, really easy thing to prep ahead of time and keep in the fridge. And even, just straight protein powder. My daughter Clara this morning, she wanted
this is why she pees her pants.
Yeah, she wanted two types of protein powder. She wanted the strawberry and the vanilla protein powder, and she doesn't want it mixed in. Like everyone else, they want their protein powder mixed in.
And then she didn't even eat it.
Oh, she ate some of it. She ate some just straight scoops of protein powder.
Dang, she's gonna be a bodybuilder before she knows it.
I know. And I'm like, I don't prefer my protein powder dry. I like it mixed in, but to each their own. So
that's because you're not as hardcore as her.
I'm not. So
yeah. You also don't pee your pants.
Yeah. So to end it today, we're going to ask our question. And my question for you is, what is your favorite holiday food to indulge on?
That's a good question. To indulge in? My favorite Thanksgiving food is stuffing. That's easy. Like, I've known that since I was 5. Never questioned it once. Like, been pretty solid in my identity as a stuffing eater. I'm not a huge fan of turkey. I'm giving you more information than you wanted.
Yeah, me neither. But you insist on making turkey. So
I know it feels right. It just feels right to make the turkey.
We went through a really, really beautiful era with some friends of ours where we just made steak every Thanksgiving because no one there liked the Thanksgiving turkey.
Well, I smoke it. So
we said, why do we need turkey? Let's just cut it. And so we did. For 3 years, we had steak. It was wonderful.
You can have steak too.
And then a couple years ago, you decided that Thanksgiving was not Thanksgiving without turkey. So now we do turkey and steak.
Yeah. As I've gotten older, I've gotten more nostalgic and feel like I need some of those traditional things.
Yeah. Okay.
I
don't mind it. It's outside. It doesn't take my oven space. So you just keep doing your turkey if you want
I think
to.
we're just going to put you on dishes for Thanksgiving because that's your favorite thing is dishes. Quote, I'm going to get that on a t-shirt for you. My favorite thing is dishes. I'm going to get myself in trouble.
You sure
I'm
are.
going to get beat up after this podcast is over. SOS. Help. Anyways, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food to indulge in or just holiday food in general?
I love pie.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like store-bought pie. Funny story. I when I was a kid, someone bought some type of like store-bought pie and they tried to put it past me that it was not from Walmart and they hid the boxes and I found the boxes and I cried. I was like, what is this? No one wants pie from Walmart. That's disgusting. And so here we are. And now I only eat homemade pies, of which either I or my friends make. And they're delicious. But store-bought pies, not so much.
Yeah.
Not so much. So I would say pie.
All right. Well, happy holidays from the Klinglers, the Strength for Life podcast. We hope you enjoy some time with your friends, with your family. Take some restful time away from work, away from exercise. Watch some Christmas movies. Eat some pie. but be intentional about the choices that you make. Be aware of the impact that it's going to have, and just have a plan. Go into it knowing what you're going to do, and I think you'll feel a ton of freedom in that, and really enjoy yourself.
And also join us for the 12 Days of Fitmas.
Yes.
We'd love to have you and your friends and your kids. We're going to make our kids do it with us. And
Good luck.
they have no choice in the matter. No, they're into it.
They are?
They're into it, yeah.
Okay.
And join us for that. And I think that'll just help set you up for success for this holiday season.
All right. Happy holidays.